Assalamu alaikum. In today's lecture, we will study about leiomyoma and ovarian cyst. Uterine leiomyomas, also known as myomas, fibromyomas, and fibroids. Uterine leiomyomas are the most common benign tumors in women. They usually occur in the uterine corpus, although they may also appear on the cervix or on the round or broad ligament. These neoplasms are usually multiple and occurs in about 20% of women over age 35. They become malignant in only 0.1% of patients and then known as leiomyosarcoma. Classification of leiomyomas is based on location. Class 1 includes intramural in the uterine wall and class 2 includes submucosal that are protruding into the endometrial cavity, and class 3 involves subserosal that are producing from the serosal surface of the uterus. In all these three classes, the uterine cavity may become larger, increasing in the endometrial surface area and causing increased uterine bleeding. As the diagram is showing the location of these leiomyomas. Causative factors. The cause of uterine leiomyomas is mostly unknown, but steroid hormones including estrogen and progesterone may be considered one of its cause, and several growth factors including epidermal growth factor have been implicated as regulator of leiomyomas growth. Pathophysiology. Excessive level of estrogen and human growth hormones probably contribute to the uterine leiomyomas formation by stimulating susceptible fibromuscular elements. Large doses of estrogen and the later stages of pregnancy increases tumor size and human growth hormones level. Conversely, uterine leiomyomas usually shrink or disappear after menopause when estrogen production decreases. Clinical manifestations involve submucosal hypermenorrhea. This is the cardinal sign of the disease, and possibly other forms of abnormal endometrial bleeding. On the second comes dysmenorrhea and pain with the large tumors, a feeling of heaviness in the abdomen, and continued pain. Intestinal obstruction, constipation, urinary frequency, or urgency may be experienced. Irregular uterine enlargement. A physical examination may reveal abdominal distension, palpable, firm, smooth nodules, or mobile, painless masses. Diagnosis is done via doing blood studies showing anemia and support the diagnosis. D&C or submucosal hysterosalpingography detects submucosal leiomyomas. Laparoscopy shows subserous leiomyomas on the uterine surface. Treatment is conservative for asymptomatic myomas, and medical management include these measures. Progestins such as medroxyprogesterone reduces overall uterine size. A combination of oral contraceptives prevents the development of new myomas. A luteinizing hormone releasing hormone such as nephrelin induces abrupt artificial menopause to promote atrophy of myomas. Iron supplementation is required to treat anemia. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs for pain relief is used. Surgical management include abdominal laparoscopy or hysteroscopy and myomectomy. Myomectomy, removal of small leiomyomas that have caused problem. Tumors that twist or grow larger enough to cause intestinal obstruction require a hysterectomy with preservation of the ovaries if possible. If leiomyomas occur in pregnancy, then what is its management? If a pregnant woman has a leiomyomatous uterus no larger than a 6-month normal uterus by the 16th week of the pregnancy, surgery is usually unnecessary and pregnancy outcome is favorable. If a pregnant woman has a leiomyomatous uterus that is the size of a 5-month to 6-month normal uterus by the 9th week of pregnancy, then spontaneous abortion will probably occur. A hysterectomy may be performed 5 to 6 months after delivery when involution is complete with preservation of the ovaries if possible. Nursing management of the disease involve administering iron supplements and blood transfusions as ordered for a patient with severe anemia from excessive bleeding, and encouraging the frequent rest period if the patient experiences fatigue related to anemia. Encourage the patient to use prescribed pain medications as ordered for pain relief, and prepare the patient physically and psychologically for surgery if indicated. Providing the patient pre-operative and post-operative care as appropriate, and teaching about the importance of regular gynecological examination including pelvic evaluation and ultrasonography for newly diagnosed symptomatic or excessively large myomas. Laboratory testing such as hemoglobin levels and hematocrit for excessive uterine bleeding is necessary, and providing monitoring once uterine size and symptoms stabilize. Complication of the disease involve spontaneous abortion, preterm labor if it occurs in pregnancy, and anemia secondary to excessive bleeding, infections, infertility, and bowel obstruction. The tumor may also mask the sign of endometrial or ovarian cancer. That is one of the most important complications of this disease. Now we will study about ovarian cyst. The ovary is a common site for cyst which may be simple enlargement of normal ovarian constituents, the Graafian follicle or the corpus luteum, or they may arise from abnormal growth of the ovarian epithelium. As the diagram is showing, the normal ovary and ovary with a cyst and its classification, that is dermoid cyst and functional cyst. Dermoid cyst. Dermoid cysts are tumors that are thought to arise from parts of the ovum that normally disappears with ripening or maturation. Their origin is undefined and they consist of undifferentiated embryonal cells. They grow slowly and are found during surgery to contain a thick yellow sebaceous material. The patient may or may not report acute or chronic abdominal pain. Symptoms of a ruptured cyst mimic various acute abdominal emergencies such as appendicitis or ectopic pregnancy. Larger cyst may produce abdominal swelling and exert pressure on the adjacent abdominal organs. On the second comes polycystic ovary syndrome. Polycystic ovary syndrome is a complex endocrine condition involving disorders in the hypothalamic pituitary and ovarian network, resulting in an ovulation, which is failure to ovulate. Occurs in a woman of childbearing age, and symptoms are related to androgen axis, irregular periods resulting from lack of regular ovulation, obesity, and hirsutism may be presenting complaints. Cysts form in the ovaries because the hormonal milieu cannot cause ovulation on a regular basis. Onset may occur at menarche or in later stages. Treatment. The treatment of large ovarian cyst is usually surgical removal. For cysts that are smaller and appear to be fluid filled, oral contraceptive may be used to suppress ovarian activity and resolving the cyst. Oral contraceptives are also usually prescribed to treat polycystic ovary syndromes. About 98% of the cysts that occur in women aged 29 years and younger are benign. In women older than 50 years of age, only half of these cysts are benign and other may be malignant. The post-operative nursing care after surgery to remove an ovarian cyst is similar to that after abdominal surgery with an exception. Complication of ovarian cyst involves torsion, intracystic hemorrhage, infections, rupture, extraperitoneal spread, and malignancy, that is secondary malignant changes. This is all about uterine leiomyomas and ovarian cysts. Thank you.